It's November 9th, 2024, Saturday, and I'm Studio C, and I'm with Mr. John J. Jeckovich, and reading his book, Their Mother's Sons. Mr. Jeckovich, you're looking very chipper today.
Yeah.
Another set of new clothes, shirt, socks, sweater.
Jesus, new clothes.
This guy is something else at 99.
He's got his Trump bandage.
He's got his Trump bandage on. Actually, that's not a Trump bandage, just where he just had a little accident on his ear, and but he's fine. This guy takes a licking and keeps on ticking. He's been beat up, shot, stabbed, bombed, you name it, during World War II. Still has shrapnel in his leg, and he just keeps on going. We've nicknamed Mr. John J. Jeckovich the Super Soldier. So before we start reading your book today, Mr. Jeckovich, what is your dog tag number?
42092965.
Great, that'll be the opening of the book. Mr. Jeckovich wrote this book over 25 years ago, and it's almost 900 pages. 900 pages. Was it very difficult to write, Mr. Jeckovich?
No, it was easy.
Did you have many times where you just looked at an empty pad of paper and weren't able to produce the words?
No.
So they came pretty easily.
Yeah.
Tell us what the book in general is about.
Well, my family life when I was a kid up to when I was in the service.
And later.
And later when I come back, yeah. Anyway, I got married and everything else. I had kids and everything.
11 years old, taking it to being drafted, getting married, having children, working at Kimberly-Clark for 35 years, having a snowplow business, a laundromat business.
Had 2 internationals.
2 internationals, way before his time. Those internationals are probably the best trucks ever made, and the best thing is they're 4x4 and they're made in America. They're heavy duty. Tell us about your 2 trucks you had, Mr. Jeckovich.
The 2 trucks?
Yeah, tell us about them. Describe them to us.
Well, you had to get outside and turn the keys on the wheels and make them 4-wheel drive, or take them off.
So not like today, you press a button.
Yeah, and then they go in, yeah.
And now you had to get out there and manually do it.
Yeah.
What kind of truck was that, Mr. Jeckovich?
What?
What kind of truck was that?
A 4-wheel cab.
Crew cab, 4-door.
Crew cab, yeah.
Okay. And what did you do? Your snow plowing with that?
So plowed, I hauled cinders, I had rocks, I had stones and everything else in there.
So that truck was a real workhorse.
Oh, yeah.
Was it a gas or a diesel?
Pardon?
Was it a gasoline engine or a diesel?
Gas. I had 2 twin tanks, one on each side.
Okay. And then was there a button to activate one tank?
Yeah.
And another? Did you able to work on the truck yourself?
No, I changed the oil, or changed the spark plugs, but that's all I did. I took it back to the International in Buffalo.
But wasn't it when you opened the hood on a truck that long ago, there was plenty of room?
Plenty of room to work, yeah.
Now today you open up a hood, you can't put a thin piece of paper through it. It's tight, it's very tight. So that was an enjoyable truck to work. Was it an automatic or a manual?
But automatic.
Your 4-wheel drive?
Shift on the floor, yeah.
Okay. And what other type of international truck did you have?
Well, let's see, I had the one on the steering wheel. Shift on the steering wheel.
And what color is that?
That was green.
They nicknamed that in town. That was a big, massive SUV. The townspeople nicknamed it the Green Monster.
Yeah, the Green Monster.
Because you didn't see SUVs back then.
Yeah.
You were before your time. You did not see SUVs back then, nor did you see crew cab trucks back then.
No.
Now, they're on every corner. What how many years did you own the big white 4-door International?
How long did I have it?
Yeah.
I probably had it for about 10 years, yeah.
It served you well.
Yeah.
And how long did you have the big Green Monster SUV?
Oh, the one that Delphine drove.
Yeah.
I had that for about 20 years, yeah.
That was a good workhorse, wasn't it?
Yeah, she took kids to school and everything on that.
Yeah. That was a great workhorse, wasn't it?
Yeah, we went on trips with it. We went camping with it, too.
You did it. Did you have a trailer hitch on them?
I had the trailer hitch on it, yeah.
On each one?
Yeah, we pulled the trailer on the back.
Oh, wow. What type of camper did you have, Mr. Jeff?
Pop-up.
Where's that today?
Huh?
Where's that pop-up?
Who knows? Who knows?
Okay. Didn't you have a big brown wooden camping case for food?
Yeah, where's that at?
Wow.
I made that up. Where's that at?
How long did it take you to build that?
Probably a month.
It was a big deal. It was a big deal. Wow. That was a big deal. Coming up on Monday is going to be November 11th, Veterans Day, and Mr. John J. Jeckovich is a highly decorated World War II veteran. He was shot up in the Battle of Bulge and other places by a sniper and a bomb overhead that took his assistant gunner's head off and left Mr. Jeckovich with shrapnel still in his leg. If Mr. Jeckovich attempted to go to the airport and get on a plane, every alarm would go off as metal being detected. What did he load up these dirty bombs in, Mr. Jeckovich? What was loaded up in these dirty bombs that the Nazis were blowing over your head?
Bolts, rock, razors, everything else.
So the Nazis would pack it with junk,
Yeah.
hoping to do the most damage
Yeah,
in the largest area.
yeah. Just drop it, yeah.
And probably a lot of tetanus could come out of those filthy things in there too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Jeckovich not only got shot up and bombed and stabbed, Mr. Jeckovich also has frostbite still.
Still frostbite in the right foot. I got it tonight.
And he had tonight, yeah. And he had trench foot. What type of equipment were you given to combat the coldest winter in Germany in 30 years?
I had the galoshes I wore in school with the buckles on them, 4 buckles.
So you weren't properly equipped.
No, we were probably equipped at middle when we started getting warming up.
But during these cold winters, 20 and 30 below,
Yeah,
You
were
weren't
the
safe.
coldest winter there was.
yeah, and a record of coldest winter. But you weren't. What happened to all the heavy-duty winter clothing?
It was gone to the rear echelon.
The rear echelon are people that don't fight on the front line. They would do inventory and send out ammo and food and equipment to the fighters on the front line. But they had the first opportunity to get everything that came through the gates. And Mr. Jeckovich didn't seem to get his due, because by the time the rear echelon dressed themselves up in heavy clothing and long johns and boots, there was nothing left
There was
for the
nothing
guys
left.
in the front line, right?
Oh,
Describe us what your boots look like, Mr.
Huh?
Jeckovich. What did your boots look like?
but boots look like the ones I wore in school with 3 buckles on them.
So they weren't for the 20 below.
No, they weren't good. They
weren't for the 20.
They weren't waterproof or nothing.
Didn't many of your fellow soldiers that received frostbite from the cold weather lose their
Oh yeah.
lose their arms, use their legs? The frostbite's a bad thing. A lot of people don't realize it, but it's a really bad thing. Mr. Jeckovich has a Purple Heart and 2 Bronze Stars, and Mr. Jeckovich was from Company H, the 2nd Battalion of the 291st Regiment of the 75th Infantry Division of the U.S. Army during World War II. Mr. Jeckovich's division was affectionately called the Diaper Division. Why was that?
Oh, they're all 19-year-olds.
They're all young boys, fresh out of high school.
They were 33s, all 33s.
The 33 is a military code meaning young boys 19. Those were the best fighters.
Oh yeah.
It's easy to say that a 25-year-old or a 35-year-old could be a good fighter, but when you put a 25-year-old next to a 35-year-old and then a 19-year-old, what happens?
Well, the 19-year-old wakes up, the other ones are struggling through the snow and get cold, they pass out and everything else.
Yeah, even a 25-year-old can't cut it like a 19-year-old would. Not like a 19-year-old could. They couldn't just cut it. 25-year-old couldn't cut it. 35-year-old couldn't cut it. And if you ever tipped the scale at 40, you're pretty well shot. You wouldn't make it a day on the front line. You wouldn't make it a day on the front line. A lot of people say, oh yeah, I'm in great shape, I would, but would they be able to?
Why?
Make it on the front line at 35 and 40?
No.
Never happened, right?
They would be too cold. They couldn't take the cold.
They couldn't take the stress, too.
Yeah.
So it was all 19-year-olds, and the interesting fact is that many 16, 17, and 18-year-olds were so devoted to their country during World War II, they lied about their age to get in. I wonder if that would ever happen today. I don't
think so.
I don't think so, Mr. Jeckovich.
No, it wouldn't happen today, no.
I don't think so, Mr. Jeckovich. And so yesterday's, this is a model Mr. Jeckovich lives on, then and now. Yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. Don't you live by that, Mr. Jeckovich?
Yeah.
Today is a gift. Mr. Jeckovich is knocking on the door of 100 years old. He's knocking on that door of 100 years old. Some people don't realize, but it's a great feat getting up to that age. There's a lot of complications, and there's a hell of a lot of work to get to 100. It's not easy. The older you get, the harder it gets. Right, Mr. Jeckovich?
Right. The older you get, right.
Fortunately, Mr. Jeckovich still reads the newspapers with no glasses at all. He could squeeze your hand and knock you down with the strength and power he has in his hands. Mr. Jeckovich never drank nor smoked. Mr. Jeckovich never took a vitamin nor a prescription of any type. Isn't that right, Mr. Jeckovich?
Right.
Mr. Jeckovich lives by another motto. Mr. Jeckovich says he has two doctors. His left leg and his right leg. That's Mr. Jeckovich's doctors.
Yeah.
His left leg and right legs. Mr. Jeckovich jogged for over 70, 80 years. We didn't bring that up. Let's talk about it. Why did you start jogging, Mr. Jeckovich?
I started reading the book, and it was a good thing to start. I mean, when you jog, you set a pace, you set the goal, you make that goal, then you can increase it. You don't stop and go.
That probably was one of the best books you ever read.
Yeah.
What advice do you give to young people that want to start jogging today?
Set a point, make that point, and then increase it, but don't stop and go. Run steady till you reach the goal, and then stop.
So don't stop and go.
No.
Run steady. It's funny how times have changed. When Mr. Jeckovich started jogging several decades ago, jogging was not fashionable. Jogging was not accepted. People just were ignorant of the fact that they're ignorant that Mr. Jeckovich was jogging for health and not transportation. When you were jogging down the road with your old boots and corduroy and old shirt on, what did people say to you?
They said, get a bicycle or get the hell off the road, you bum.
Yeah, people back then did not understand Mr. Jeckovich was jogging for health, served him well. Mr. Jeckovich also stated when he started jogging, people would throw a can of Genesee beer at him, throw a can of Campbell's soup at him, hit him in the head, throw apples, and anything they could get their hands on, say, get out of the road, you bum. Can't you afford a car?
Yeah.
Can't you afford a car? Take the bus. And these people were just ignorant of the fact that they didn't realize Mr. Jeckovich was running for health. And now Mr. Jeckovich is in picture-perfect health, except from jogging, his knees blew out. But that's a pretty good trade-off to have everything else working in fine order. These people that threw cans of beer at him and said all these derogatory statements, I assure you, each and every one of those are pushing up daisies right now. Each and every one of those are pushing up daisies right now. On the way to the studio today, Mr. Jeckovich, jogging is so fashionable. I must have seen 20 or 30 different people jogging, and they all have these very expensive jogging uniforms.
Yeah.
This fancy coloring shoes, matching slacks, matching shirt, and they even have these matching water bottles and they have headsets and matching hats, and even though the weather is very warm here, matching gloves. Did you ever get into that?
No, no.
Did you ever get all dressed up like that?
No, no, I just went with my pants and the old hat. And,
Do you think that does them any good of jogging? Does it?
yeah.
You think it does them any good from them?
Yeah.
It doesn't help them?
No.
Doesn't help them. How would you dress, Mr. Jeckovich?
How was I dressed? Pair of pants, sneakers, old sneakers, and I didn't even have a hat on.
Total wardrobe less than $5. And it's interesting, Mr. Jeckovich would never get dressed up
No.
like they do today.
Oh yeah, they get to spend millions of dollars on those outfits.
Yeah. Did you ever wrap a water bottle around you?
No.
Would you ever want to wrap a water bottle around you?
No.
Another interesting fact about keep moving and you'll live to 100. Sometimes that's, I don't know if that's good because it's hard getting 100. If you're 40 years old, for example, you have a 10% chance of getting to 100. You have a 10% chance. It's tough. But another thing Mr. Jeckovich did, he worked at a factory called Kimberly-Clark, right?
Yeah.
What hours did you work there, Mr. Jeckovich?
I work shift work.
And what's that mean?
Shift work, I work three shifts, the afternoon, the nights and days.
Did you used to drive your car to work?
No, never wrote. That car never went in the parking lot.
In 35 years, Mr. Jeckovich's car tires never make it to the parking lot. He would walk. What would you do during the heavy storms in Niagara Falls during the winter?
I wore regular boots.
I mean, when there were snowstorms, what would you do?
I wore Navarro or something.
What would you do during those big, heavy rainstorms?
Well, I get poncho on, and that's it.
And that'd be it.
Yeah.
So you're telling me your car tires never made it to that parking lot 35 years?
No, no.
That was another good form of exercise, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was another good form of exercise. What would the shift be like from 11 to 7? You'd have to walk to work at night.
Yeah.
Weren't you worried about any hoodlums being out that late at night?
And who?
If you're walking at, say, midnight to Kimberly-Clark, weren't you worried about any hoodlums or bad guys being out?
Well, I worked for, my distance from Orleans Avenue to the house was probably a mile and a half.
But didn't you run across any troublemakers?
No, I never worried about it, no.
Never one time?
No, huh?
Never one time you had a
No,
troublemaker?
no.
Wow. And what would all the guys do after they get out of work?
They go to the red spot across the street.
When you walked to work, didn't you have to pass the red spot every time?
Oh, yeah.
And did you see a lot of your co-workers in
And I
there?
get high there, I just keep on going.
Oh, okay. So they wanted you to come in and have a drink.
Yeah, yeah.
And what'd you tell them?
That's what I just say, I have my figure.
So you had a lot of opportunities to start drinking liquor and you never...
Oh, yeah.
Also,
Or smoking.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. Mr. Jeckovich had many opportunities to take up the habit of cigarette smoking. Let me explain to you why. During World War II, the Red Cross passed out cigarettes to all the combat vets like they were candy.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
They were unfiltered.
They were unfiltered, yeah?
Unfiltered. Paul Miles, Sulky Stripe, Chesterfield.
Uh-huh. And they would just pass them out like candy.
Yeah, yeah. They thought they were doing a big favor.
Oh, yeah. And so there was an opportunity to right then to get addicted. You know, let's go through the numbers. 15,400,000 young men and women participated in World War II. 14,500,000 are already dead, and there's less than 100,000 left, and they're all in their late 90s or early hundreds. But however, many of the young soldiers picked up the habit of cigarette smoking during World War II.
Yeah.
And if they didn't get shot by a sniper or bombed by Hitler or some other devious act to kill them during the war, 20 or 30 years later, they all passed away from lung cancers from the addiction to cigarettes that they were pushed on during World War II.
Yeah.
So they just passed out these cigarettes like candy.
Oh, yeah. They were at the tables all the time.
And then when you're leaving, when the war was finally over, what did you see about cigarettes there? The tents?
Oh, they were on the table for the young kids to grab.
No, I mean, besides that, that's, before you got released to civilian life, what kind of tent names were there? You were staying in tents before you got released.
Oh, there was Lucky Strike, Palm. They were PO tents to get you ready for going home.
So what Mr. Jeckovich is saying, so I can clarify this, when war was over on European theater, they would have to have points, and certain points they would be able to release back to their own home state and be civilians once again. But there were several of these tents, and all these tents were advertised with big, great artwork, Pall Mall, Lucky Strike, Chesterfield,
Yeah.
and a listed Viceroy.
They were all tents with a little stove in the side.
So
Yeah.
it's constantly available large doses of cigarettes to these young soldiers. Then what Mr. Jeckovich said earlier, let me elaborate. So that was a great advertisement tool for the tobacco industry, but later after the war was over, and they're not passing out cigarettes like candy bars, they did something else that was very devious. What did they do on 7-Eleven counters?
They left the stuff on the table for young kids to grab them, steal them, yeah. They wanted them to steal them.
So the next course of action for these tobacco companies was to infiltrate the 100,050 convenience stores in the United States, and they put packs of cigarettes on display right next to the cash register. And the goal there was to make it so easy and so convenient for a 13 or 14 or 12 or youngster to steal a pack.
Yeah.
And what the tobacco company's philosophy was, steal a pack today,
You get a carton tomorrow.
sell a carton tomorrow. Right, that's right. Sell a carton tomorrow. That was their philosophy.
Yeah.
And it worked. Who would think 2024 we still have a large percentage of smokers? Who would ever think? 2024. Wow. So that was a very interesting fact about leaving the war, but when the war was winding down in Europe, many of the soldiers that still had to hang around for 3 or 4 months to be released made it through the war, but they're extremely worried now that the war is winding down.
Yeah.
There might be some fanatic Nazis in trees to pick them off.
Yeah.
So they had to be very careful, and they were. They go,
Did you want to see the rest of that thing you see last night, the guys about running the cold up in high levels?
yeah.
Yeah, put that on, yeah.
All right, just a second, please. How many minutes here? We got a problem.
Okay.
Okay. Tell me how many minutes left.
Yeah, you said you wanted to see the rest of this, yeah.
6.
We got 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Let's finish up. We got 6 minutes, Mr. Jeckovich, and we'll switch to the other studio.
Yeah, you said, I want to see the rest of that.
No, it's 6 minutes. Just give us a minute here. So we have to finish here. Just hold on, Mr. Jeckovich. And so that was a very interesting fact, and we're on the verge of getting into the middle of Mr. John J. Jeckovich's book, Engaged in Wedding Plans. But there's a couple of notes I made this morning on random facts. Could we have like about 5 minutes, Mr. Jeckovich, so I can read your random facts? And then we'll jump over to the other studio. Random facts I made notes of was during World War II, the United States didn't want any German-sounding food on their menus. Unfortunately, one of the most popular American meals was the hamburger, named after the German city of Hamburg.
Yeah.
Americans didn't want to give up that delicacy, so they started calling them Liberty Steaks. Do you remember them calling hamburgers, like you said in your book, Liberty Steaks?
Yeah.
Because they wanted nothing to do with the Germans. Here's another thing about interesting foods during World War II, he said. They also started calling Frankfurters, named after the German city of Frankfurt, hot dogs. Do you remember that?
Yeah, hot dogs, yeah.
This one caught on a little bit better than the Liberty Steaks. So the hot dogs caught on. We're not using Frankfurters anymore during World War II.
Yeah.
However, the hamburger still stayed. We never reverted back to what we calling Liberty Stakes. Never. And Mr. Jeckovich said, if you adjust for inflation in modern American dollars, World War II cost the United States about $4.5 trillion.
Yeah.
That war was expensive.
Oh, yeah. Life and money.
Believe me, and we're still paying in ways today. A lot of people don't know this, but next time you get some tires on your automobile, look closely at the invoice. Look closely at your bill. During World War II, the federal government put an excise tax on rubber, including all tires, and to this date, that excise tax that was initiated during World War II is still on your tire purchase.
Yeah.
Check it out. It's there. It's there. Just a minute, Mr. Jeckovich, we're almost done here. The classic American snack food, Cheetos, were invented in 1943 as a way to freeze-dry cheese for the humid climates. All this is coming out of World War II.
Yeah.
And here's another, a lot of good things came, a lot of bad things came out of World War II. The blood transfusion was invented during World War II and saved hundreds of thousands of lives. Because wasn't so many soldiers in desperate need of blood.
Yeah, yeah. I did give them a transfusion right out of the field.
And we've seen so many films of young soldiers, especially in the 101st Division, where they were slaughtered by the SS, and that whole picture the size of a football field, white in snow, now transformed to red.
Yeah,
because all the young GIs were slaughtered. The United States Medal of Honor was awarded to 464 Americans. That's very interesting. Russia had the largest number of casualties of any country in World War II, with over 21 million soldiers killed.
Yeah, they fought up north.
Yeah, on the Russian front.
Yeah.
These guys, if they weren't dying from a bullet, they were dying from the weather. It's an interesting fact that Mr. Jeckovich's father came from the Russian front area, the coldest
area, Battle of Lostock.
area in the world.
Yeah, Battle of Lostock,
In
yeah.
a nasty little town, there's primarily factory workers, and they really would work you to death. They would really work you to death. And we're almost done, Mr. Jeckovich. And but it's interesting about the blood transfusions. Here's another thing. The Russians really gave it their all, and they were fighting the Germans, thank God. The Russian army was the first in the world to use paratroopers. And we'd see the Russian paratroopers coming down, you'd see the American paratroopers coming down, and when you see the American paratroopers coming down during the Bulge, the Nazis were picking them off.
Oh, yeah.
Picking them off like flies.
Yeah, they had their fighters on them, too.
Minutes?
140.
They had what?
They had their fighters on them, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's hard to believe that these paratroopers were unbelievable people, that they'd be coming down under gunfire, and many of the paratroopers, believe it or not, at times were given these small, tiny bicycles to get around it once they got off.
Yeah.
And they had to,
Didn't you try it?
you tried paratrooping one time.
Huh? Yeah, yeah.
How was that?
Right.
You got hurt coming down paratrooping.
Yeah, once. Yeah.
Didn't a lot of guys get hung up on trees?
Yeah, that's what it is. At night you can be afraid of the branches. The branch could spear, like a spear, go right through your stomach.
Go right through your stomach.
Or your rear or something.
What happened to him?
What happened to you when you parachuted?
Huh?
What happened when you came out of a parachute?
I came down twice daylight and once on midnight, nights.
And it's pretty much a fact that the paratrooper, in most cases, got caught in a tree, that he was pretty well dead. They would shoot him.
Well, if he got caught in a tree and got speared with a branch, that was it.
How about the Germans?
Germans, same thing, yeah.
They'd shoot you on the spot.
Yeah.
Minutes?
30 seconds.
All right, put that on so we can see the rest of it.
Okay, we're
Okay,
gonna
yeah.
get it, Mr. Jeckovich, could you?
We're writing it down.
We're winding it down, we're counting it down.
We'll pick it up tomorrow.
We'll pick it up tomorrow, Mr. Jeckovich.
All
We'll
right,
get
you
that.
want to see the rest of it?
Yeah,
Come
we'll
on.
get that studio on for you, Mr. Jeckovich. We're just winding this film, just rewinding this film, Mr. Jeckovich.
Okay.
Okay.